Hey Chris, it's Chris. Hope you're doing well. I am packaging your unit for shipment tomorrow, and I figured I'd make a quick video to go over where connections are going to be made. So with a Phillips screwdriver, I went ahead and took off the cover for the breaker box here, which looks like this, and it's got each one labeled. So connection wise, you're going to land the positive wire from your air conditioner right here on this Blue Sea breaker, and then push this up to activate it. This is the disconnect. And then the negative from your air conditioner, you're going to want to run to this bus bar. These two acorn nuts pop off. And then you've got access. These are 14 millimeter nuts, and you can stack it on any one of these. It literally does not matter which one. Your second breaker here, whoops, sorry, we haven't covered that yet. Your first breaker here is for your solar line. And similar to your air conditioner, you're going to bring the positive cable from your solar into this box and land it right there in that slot. And you'll just tighten this Phillips screw down and flip the breaker on. This is off, this is on. The negative from your solar, just like the air conditioner, is going to run over here, land on any of these studs. Doesn't matter which one. Alternator is a similar story. So you're going to run a positive line from your starter battery or the bus bar off of your starter battery, and that's going to go into this breaker here. That's number 2, and it says C63. C25 is your solar, that's the amperage rating, and then 63 for your alternator. So you'll put your wire in that lead or in that terminal there, tighten this down, this is on, this is off. Your chassis ground or a negative lead from your starter battery, same situation. It's going to go to this bus bar on any of the studs. For AC wiring, you'll take off this screw just like any residential load center, and you'll land your ground on the ground bar. There's a neutral bar here, and then your hot lead will be on each of these circuits. These are split, so this is carrying in 30 amps, and it's just split off between two circuits. So the two circuits combined can't exceed 30 amps, or they will blow the circuit on, or the breaker on the back of the inverter. And if one of these circuits exceeds 15 amps for too long, then it'll flip off the breaker. In my experience, I was tripping this breaker before I could trip these breakers. So, but I was testing with both in use. So your experience may vary, but be aware you have AC breakers here and on the back of your inverter here. Your DC loads in the van, so your heater and your lights and your refrigerator, etc., go on this bus bar here. I'm sending you a kit of fuses. So you'll land the positives on these terminals and then the negatives on these terminals. It's more important to label your positives than it is your negatives. And I usually just do top 3, bottom 3, top 3, or whatever, however it makes sense to you. And you can label the top if you wish. This really takes 2 hands to reinstall. There we are. Additionally, I'm sending you an extra master fuse. This is a 500 amp fuse, 500 amp ANL fuse. So I'm sending you a spare just in case. 500 amps is the max capacity that these batteries can support, and that's why I've chosen that as our, fail-safe fuse. And let's see what else we got. You've got a few outlets directly on the inverter here, and you'll have a control panel. That's this guy. This you can mount anywhere on the wall, and it lets you turn the inverter on and off. If you're not using AC power, it does make sense to turn it off because it does use energy from the batteries, even if you don't have anything AC plugged in. So that controller plugs in right here. That controller plugs in right here, LED remote port, because that's the LED remote. They do make an LCD screen, but it does the same thing. Now the Victron monitor, that's this guy. I've already configured and updated the firmware. That has an RJ11 port or cable. That plugs in right here on the back of this negative shunt. And you can run it. There's plenty of length to run it wherever it is you want to have it. Here are the spare A&L fuses. There's paperwork. Threw in some decals, and then you'll have to forgive my camera work. And then I've got a bezel for your Victron monitor for wall mounting, and then a box of DC blade fuses to go into your Blue Seat block here. So I'm going to put the cover back onto the circuit breakers. When in doubt, they are labeled here, so you'll know which one is which. And feel free to give me a shout if you have any trouble. The only thing I could see you running into would probably be pairing everything up in the app. I think I'll make a video of me doing just that and send that to you separately.